Chapter 1. Becoming a Roman Soldier. Life as a Roman legionary followed a rhythm so demanding, so precisely regulated, that historians studying surviving records often describe it as closer to a strict, all-encompassing profession than anything most ancient peoples would have recognized as ordinary daily existence. Becoming a Roman soldier began with a formal enlistment process. Young men, typically between 17 and 20 years old, presenting themselves before recruiting officers who assessed physical fitness, height, and general suitability before formally accepting them into a legion's ranks. Successful recruits swore a formal military oath, called the sacramentum, pledging loyalty to Rome and their commanding officers. This solemn commitment marking their transition from civilian life into the highly structured, demanding world of Roman military service. New recruits immediately entered an intensive training period, this initial instruction lasting several months, during which experienced instructors drilled fundamental skills including marching formation, weapons handling, and the basic discipline that would define their entire military career going forward. Marching itself required surprisingly extensive practice. Roman legions expected to cover approximately 20 miles daily at standard pace, soldiers carrying substantial equipment loads, this seemingly simple skill actually requiring considerable physical conditioning and practiced endurance to sustain over extended campaigns. Weapons training focused heavily on the gladius, a short sword designed for close combat, alongside the pilum, a specialized javelin, recruits practicing repeatedly against wooden posts and training partners until sword strikes and defensive movements became genuinely automatic, instinctive responses. Physical conditioning extended well beyond basic weapons practice, soldiers regularly swimming, running, and practicing with weighted training equipment, specifically designed heavier than actual combat gear, building strength and endurance that would prove essential during genuine campaign conditions. New recruits also learned essential camp-building skills. Roman legions famous for constructing secure, standardized fortified camps rapidly, even during active campaigns. This practical engineering knowledge considered just as essential as combat skill for successful legionary service. Literacy and basic administrative skills, while not required for enlistment, proved genuinely valuable. Soldiers capable of reading and writing, sometimes finding opportunities for specialized administrative roles that offered somewhat different daily routines compared to purely combat-focused positions. This intensive initial training period fundamentally transformed civilian recruits into disciplined professional soldiers, establishing the demanding daily habits, physical capabilities, and unquestioning discipline that would define their entire subsequent military career within Rome's remarkably sophisticated, professional military system. Chapter 2. A Soldier's Daily Camp Routine. Once fully trained, a Roman soldier's daily life within a permanent camp or fortress followed a remarkably structured, predictable routine. This careful organization reflecting Roman military philosophy that discipline and order represented essential foundations for effective military performance. Days typically began before sunrise, soldiers roused by trumpet signals that structured virtually every aspect of camp life, from waking and meal times to guard duty rotations and training sessions. This signal-based system ensuring coordinated activity across potentially thousands of soldiers simultaneously. Morning inspection represented an important daily ritual, officers checking equipment condition, uniform standards, and overall soldier presentation. This regular scrutiny reinforcing the discipline and attention to detail that Roman military culture considered essential for maintaining combat readiness. Physical training continued throughout a soldier's career, not merely during initial recruitment. Veteran soldiers still expected to maintain rigorous fitness through regular marching drills, weapons practice, and conditioning exercises. This ongoing training ensuring units remained genuinely combat-ready during peaceful garrison periods. Camp maintenance duties occupied significant daily time as well. Soldiers responsible for maintaining fortifications, roads, and camp infrastructure. This practical labor reflecting the Roman military's broader engineering capabilities and its soldiers' versatile, multi-skilled professional training. Guard duty rotations required careful scheduling, soldiers taking turns monitoring camp perimeters and gates throughout day and night. This constant vigilance considered essential even during peaceful periods, reflecting genuine military discipline rather than complacent assumption of safety. Administrative tasks consumed considerable time for many soldiers. Roman military bureaucracy maintaining detailed records regarding supplies, personnel, and pay. Some soldiers specifically assigned to these administrative functions rather than purely combat-focused daily responsibilities. Meal times followed regular scheduling as well, soldiers typically eating together in organized groups. This communal dining reinforcing unit cohesion while ensuring fair, consistent food distribution across the entire military unit, according to established Roman military logistics standards. Evening activities included continued equipment maintenance, soldiers responsible for keeping their own weapons and armor in proper working condition. This personal responsibility for equipment care considered fundamental military discipline throughout Roman legionary service. This remarkably structured daily routine, maintained consistently whether during active campaign or peaceful garrison duty, reflects the sophisticated organizational philosophy underlying Roman military success. Discipline and predictable routine considered just as important as combat skill for maintaining an effective, reliable fighting force. Chapter 3. What Roman soldiers actually ate. Roman military logistics placed enormous emphasis on reliable food supply, army commanders understanding clearly that a well-fed soldier represented a genuinely effective soldier. This practical recognition shaping sophisticated supply systems, supporting Roman military campaigns across enormous distances. The staple Roman military rations centered around grain, typically wheat, soldiers receiving a regular allocation that they would grind themselves using small portable millstones, then bake into bread or prepare as a thick porridge called pulse. This grain-based diet, forming their fundamental caloric foundation. Soldiers also received regular allocations of bacon or salted pork, this preserved meat providing valuable protein and fat content that remained stable during extended campaigns without refrigeration. Salt curing techniques, ensuring this important protein source remained edible for extended periods. Cheese formed another important dietary staple, providing additional protein and fat alongside valuable calcium content. Hard cheeses particularly favored for their extended shelf life and practical portability during active military campaigns across varying terrain and climate conditions. Vinegar-based sour wine, called pasca, served as soldiers' primary beverage. This diluted, mildly acidic drink helping make water supplies safer to consume while providing modest caloric content, wealthier officers sometimes enjoying actual wine rather than this more basic soldier's ration. Olive oil provided essential dietary fat and cooking medium, this Mediterranean staple considered so important that military logistics specifically prioritized reliable olive oil supply alongside grain, recognizing its fundamental nutritional and practical culinary importance. Vegetables, when available, supplemented this basic diet, soldiers sometimes growing small gardens near permanent camps, or receiving vegetable rations during campaigns where local supply allowed, though fresh produce remained considerably less reliable than the core grain, meat, and cheese rations. Cooking typically happened in small squad groups called contubernia, 8 soldiers sharing a tent and cooking equipment. These small units preparing meals together, using simple portable cooking equipment that could be transported efficiently during active campaign movement. Food shortages during difficult campaigns created genuine hardship. Soldiers sometimes forced to forage or requisition food from local populations when official supply lines failed, this practical necessity sometimes creating tension with civilian populations along campaign routes. This carefully organized military diet, while nutritionally basic by modern standards, provided sufficient caloric and protein content to sustain demanding physical activity. Roman military logistics representing genuinely sophisticated supply chain management for their historical era. Chapter 4. Camp Life, Discipline, and Punishment. Roman military discipline maintained notorious strictness. This rigid structure considered absolutely essential for maintaining effective, coordinated military units, capable of executing complex tactical maneuvers, reliably even under the genuine chaos and stress of actual combat conditions. Minor infractions typically received relatively modest punishment, extra duties, reduced rations, or public reprimands serving as common consequences for lesser disciplinary violations that didn't threaten broader unit cohesion or combat effectiveness. More serious violations faced considerably harsher consequences, including physical punishment, or, for the most severe offenses like desertion or cowardice, potential execution. This severe potential consequence reflecting how seriously Roman military culture treated fundamental breaches of military discipline and loyalty. A particularly notorious punishment called decimation, though historically rare, involved randomly executing a portion of an entire unit following serious collective failure. This extreme measure intended as powerful deterrent against unit-wide cowardice or mutiny, even though its actual historical application remained genuinely uncommon. Officers maintained authority through a combination of formal military rank and practical experience, centurions particularly important as experienced, respected leaders who directly commanded and disciplined ordinary soldiers within each unit's daily operations and training. Rewards for exceptional performance balanced this strict disciplinary system, decorations, promotions, and additional pay recognizing soldiers who demonstrated particular bravery, skill, or loyalty. This combination of genuine reward and serious punishment shaping powerful incentive structures throughout Roman military culture. Leisure time, though limited, did exist within Roman military routine, soldiers sometimes gambling with dice, playing simple games, or socializing during limited free periods. These modest recreational activities providing important psychological relief from otherwise demanding military discipline and routine. Religious observance played significant roles in military culture as well. Soldiers participating in various religious ceremonies and festivals throughout the military calendar, these practices reinforcing unit cohesion while providing important spiritual and psychological support during difficult campaign conditions. Long-term career soldiers could eventually achieve genuine social advancement through military service, successful completion of a full term, typically 25 years, earning veterans land grants or monetary payment, along with citizenship for non-citizen soldiers, representing meaningful practical incentive for sustained military commitment. This combination of strict discipline, genuine reward systems, and structured daily routine created remarkably effective, cohesive military units. Roman military culture, successfully balancing harsh consequence with genuine opportunity in ways that sustained military effectiveness across many centuries of continued Roman territorial expansion and defense. Chapter 5. Marching, Campaigns, and Life on the Move. Closing chapter. When legions moved beyond permanent garrisons into active campaign, daily routine transformed considerably, soldiers now facing the genuine physical demands and uncertainty of sustained movement through potentially hostile, unfamiliar territory across extended military operations. Daily marching represented campaign life's most consistent physical demand, soldiers covering substantial distances while carrying equipment loads that could exceed 40 pounds, including weapons, armor, personal supplies, and often tools needed for rapid camp construction upon reaching each day's destination. Constructing a secure, fortified camp each evening became routine practice during active campaigns, soldiers efficiently building defensive ditches, walls, and organized tent arrangements following standardized patterns that allowed rapid, reliable camp establishment even after exhausting daily marches. This nightly camp construction, though physically demanding after already covering significant marching distance, provided crucial security against surprise attack. Roman military discipline ensuring this important defensive practice continued consistently, regardless of how tired soldiers might genuinely feel after each day's exertion. Weather and terrain created genuine additional campaign challenges. Soldiers marching through difficult conditions, including extreme heat, cold, rain, or challenging mountainous terrain. These environmental factors, sometimes proving as genuinely dangerous as any human military opponent encountered during campaigns. Supply lines required careful ongoing management during extended campaigns. Military logistics coordinating food, equipment, and reinforcement supplies across potentially vast distances, this practical challenge representing one of ancient warfare's most significant, ongoing strategic considerations for successful campaign execution. Combat itself, when it occurred, represented relatively brief, intense episodes within otherwise much longer periods of marching, camp construction, and logistics management, the popular image of constant battle actually representing a small fraction of genuine campaign daily experience for most ordinary soldiers. Communication and coordination across large campaign forces required sophisticated organizational systems, officers relaying orders through structured command hierarchies. This practical coordination essential for maintaining effective large-scale military operations across challenging, unpredictable campaign conditions. Extended campaigns tested soldiers' endurance considerably, months or even years away from permanent garrisons and any semblance of stable routine. This sustained physical and psychological demand representing perhaps campaign life's most genuinely challenging aspect beyond combat itself. Looking back across this full picture of Roman military daily life, from rigorous initial training through structured garrison routine to demanding campaign conditions, we gain genuine appreciation for just how remarkably organized, disciplined, and physically demanding ordinary legionary service actually was. This sophisticated military culture helping explain Rome's sustained historical military effectiveness across so many centuries of continued expansion and successful territorial defense.